that is very important. And this is more just like a success angle, and when it comes to you guys achieving your goals and becoming very, very successful. And that is the idea of not being understood. You know, I feel like when you start working harder, you start seeing more progress with your goals, you start to realize more and more how little other people really fucking try, how little other men try. You know, how much people are more talk than they are action. Like, you're actually getting shit done. You're actually seeing yourself make a lot of progress. And you start to look at people around you. You know, hopefully you don't have any bum niggas around you. So you just start to look at other men in general and how other niggas are operating and realize, like, damn, niggas are fucking lazy. They're not fucking working hard. They're not giving it their all. Their desire to win is really just not that fucking strong. You know? And naturally, what does this lead to? It leads to you being misunderstood. You know? If it's not by the bum ass niggas that are currently around you, it's by your family members. You know, they're going to look at you like, why are you working so hard? Why do you care so much? Why are you putting in all this work? Why are you making all these sacrifices? You know? And you might think initially, oh, why don't they just understand? I just want to win really bad. Why don't they also want to win? Like, you start asking yourself all these questions. You think what you're doing is weird. You think your dedication and your desire and your hunger to win is weird. But the thing is, when you look at the lives of all the people who are judging you or looking at you and like, why are you working so hard? Why are you trying so hard? Why are you making all these sacrifices? You quickly start to realize you don't want the lives of these people at all. You don't. So who the fuck cares if they misunderstand? In fact, you want the people that you never want to fucking be like to misunderstand you. That should be the goal. The goal is they should misunderstand. The goal is they should not understand why you're doing what you're doing. They that's how they should feel. My niggas, that's literally how they should feel. They should feel like, bruh, why is he going so hard? Because you want to win. You don't want to be like them. That's why you're going so fucking hard. You don't want to be like a bum ass nigga. You don't want to lack ambition. You don't want to lack motivation. You want to have all the finer things in life. You want to reach the peak of your power as a man. You want to reach the peak of your masculinity. You want to see just how great you truly are. In order to do that, you have to work very hard and make a lot of sacrifices, right? You know, I say a lot. If you want to be exceptional, you have to be the exception. Got that from Alex Hormozy, by the way. But it's true. You know, if you want to win different, you got to move different. You can't do what everybody is fucking doing and expect to win bigger than everybody else. It just doesn't really make any sense. So the goal should be to misunderstood. People should not understand why you're so dedicated, why you're trying so hard, why you're putting in so much work. Because if they did understand the level of effort you're putting in, the level of sacrifice you're putting in, that means you're exactly like them. And when you look at their life and you realize, I do not want to be like any of these niggas. That's really bad. That should be a warning sign. You should be scared. You should be like, oh, I'm trash. I need to change my life. You know? You should be competing with the best men on the planet. You should be looking at the best men to walk this earth, the best men that are currently walking this earth, and be comparing yourself to them. You know? Because the men that you actually want to be like, you know what's funny? They'll understand why you're so dedicated. They'll understand why you're working so hard. They'll understand why you're making so many sacrifices. They'll understand very quickly because that's what it took for them to become great. So they're going to look at you and be like, oh, this nigga's on the right path. He's just doing the natural thing. This is the bare minimum to become as great as I have become. You don't want to relate to bums. Who the fuck wants to relate to losers? Do you want to be a loser? No. So you should not relate to them. You should look at them as peasants, irrelevant, fools. Fodder, cannon fodder, bum niggas, peasants, insects. That's how you should see them. Because you don't want to be like them. Worthless to you in your life, in your mission, in your goals. You know? This is how all men who reach massive power in their life think. You know? They don't want to relate. If 90% of men are peasants, then they don't want to relate to 90% of men. They want to relate to the 0.00000000000.1% of guys because that's the type of guy that they want to be like. So that's like one guy that they want to relate to on the entire planet. Everybody else should be in a nuisance to you. Everybody else, you should be like, I don't give a fuck about you niggas. I want to be better than that guy. So everybody else doesn't fucking matter. Everybody else should misunderstand me. Everybody else should not understand me at all. because I don't want to be like you bum niggas. I only want to be better than this one guy. So he's the only guy that should understand me. He's the only guy who should fear me because he sees me coming. He sees how hard I'm working. He's looking back at me and seeing, oh, I remember when I was at that age. That's exactly as hard as I was cooking. In fact, this nigga's cooking harder than me. That's how you need to think. You need to become a demon, y'all. You should love being misunderstood. You should love being hated. You should love it all because it means you're doing the right thing. If you're misunderstood, you're on the right fucking path. If you're not misunderstood, you're on the wrong path. I'll tell you that right fucking now. This is what it takes. And the real niggas do what it takes. So yeah, man. That's the spiel, man. That's the spiel. That's the yap for tonight. I think it cooks really well there with a lot of the things there. I think all those things you guys can drag a lot of value from and just understand, as I was saying, for my young black men watching this, I don't want you guys to subscribe to the victim narrative. I don't want you to listen to these Dems or these liberals or these leftists. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They don't want to see you succeed. They want you to believe in this white supremacy. They want you to believe that fucking Walter in the middle of fucking Mississippi with his tractor trailer with his Confederate flag is really affecting your life. They want you to really believe that shit. Because they know, if we can get this dumbass nigga to believe this, he'll give us money, he'll vote for us, and then we're going to go make off with all this money and these votes that he gave us to push our own agendas. We're going to go buy fucking mansions with all this bread, with all these votes they just gave us. Stupid bum-ass EBT niggas, fried chicken dumbers. Fried chicken dumbers. Fuck no. Fried chicken fuckers. Fried chicken fuckers. EBT demons. Welfare slaves, food stamp slaves. Like, that's what they want you to think. And I don't want you guys to prescribe to that shit at all because you have a lot of potential, more potential than you realize. But you have to break free from that victimhood. And that means leaving the black community, to be honest. You don't want to be a part of that shit. As I was saying just now with being misunderstood, the niggas that want to be victims, they're going to have to misunderstand you if you want to be a winner. I'm telling you right now, if you relate very closely with the black community in the current United States of America, you're on the wrong path. You're a fucking loser. You're on the wrong path. I'll tell you that shit right fucking now. You are. So you got to step away from the victim narrative and you'll become a winner. And I was saying too, these bitches, depressed as hell. If you want to win with women, it's just all about leadership because they're ridiculously deprived of that shit. They're more free than ever. They're the biggest hoes on the planet, American women, and their lives are horrible. They're depressed. They hate themselves right now. They're crying out for a man to just come and lead their lives. A lot of these bitches don't deserve it. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, if you want to fuck around and fuck with these hoes, you got to be a leader in all ways. You control the frame for everything. She does everything in your frame, And then I was saying, lastly here, you want to be misunderstood. Nobody should understand you. You don't want to relate to bums. If 90% of men are bums, you only want to relate to the 0.0000001% to ensure that you become a winner. So when everybody misunderstands you, that means you win. So yeah, man.